Day is brought to you by Barton Community College. Explore your future and get started now. Visit gobarton.com.
Okay, Sports Day in 3, 2, 1.
4th down and goal. Gordon, the ball is out and recovered by Seattle. Seattle takes over at their 10 as they get a stop, and the ball recovered by Michael Jackson.
No, he knew where we had to get. I thought Javonte made it amazing. Why I was expecting to have to go for it on that down and distance, because I believe we were about 3rd and 14, 3rd and 15. I thought Javonte made an incredible play and put us in the field goal range, the mark that we were looking for.
I thought that, obviously the environment's always special here. I've been here for 10 years. It was special tonight. I thought the energy, I thought everybody was focused and locked in. It just didn't go our way. But guess what? There's 16 more games to go.
Because when you talk about quarterbacks, everybody will go, well, there's Brady and Rodgers. Okay, that's a different level, the older, elder statesman. Josh Allen, everybody believes might be the MVP this year. And then you say, people say, and the future is Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert. And we've talked a lot about Lamar's contract. But it just feels like Patrick Mahomes sits back there and kind of gets forgotten in everybody's mind.
I thought they all really contributed and did a nice job. I mean, we've got, George in the mix there, too. So, you got a bunch of guys that had an opportunity to play.
Once we figured that out and knew that we were playing pretty good defense, especially in that second half, it became, okay, guys, let's not make a mistake. Let's wear on them a little bit, see if we can wear on them. That number 22 is a pretty good running back.
And the pitch hit grounded sharply down the third baseline into the left field corner. Juan is on his way to third. He's being waved home. Rosario is stopping at second. Guardians take the lead on an RBI double by Ahmed Rosario.
I love me some Tom Hamilton. Yes, indeed. Smile, Mike. Come on. Welcome to Sports Day on 1590 KVGB, 95.5 FM, the talk of the town, coming your way today from the Mayo Money Management Studios at beautiful 12th and Baker. We're supposed to mow out there anyway, by the way.
He didn't want me to talk, so. Right next to the Great Bend Police Station, or the future home of the Great Bend Police Station.
Is that pile of dirt over there? I need some.
Was that Tom Hamilton on a routine single in the first inning? Or was that
they took the lead late, man. That was a lead late.
Cries wolf.
Yeah, welcome to the program. I'm Steve Webster. Mike Corson sitting there with an unobstructed view on
I got
video
front row
today.
Seats for the.
Yes, you do. You got the best seats in the house.
We've got. We're going to play a game called Kickoff Return today. This game is
63 is what Divis told us.
1963.
Steve Divis, the historian, was checking the history of that and said 1963.
Am I going to get electrocuted?
I don't know.
We'd hope not.
Divis came in and turned the
We're going to put a black tape on that
through,
because that makes everything up.
So we'll have a big kickoff return coming up in just a moment here. We don't know what we're going to do this game. Maybe it'll turn into something. Maybe it'll be the last day that people will ever watch.
One and only.
Okay, on today.
No, you got to leave the referee there. Oh, no.
We don't want to break him.
No, he's going to score a touchdown in a minute.
He's got to look at the field, man. Come on.
On the show today, we'll be talking Houston Cardinal football with Cole Reif, the voice of the Cardinal football team. We'll also talk K-Preps. Their new poll is out. Get you ready for week 3 of the football season. I'll be talking Larned High School football today with head coach Tad Remy. Talk about bouncing back. They got smoked by Pratt the first week, then came back and smoked the Lions team last week.
The tribe lives.
That was a big one.
Yes, it was.
And on the prowl with Mike Corson. Today, you'll be talking with Shelly Duvall and seniors Rylie Duvall and Kyndall Blessing. They have a match at Hayes tonight.
Varsity only.
So how do they determine whether it's going to be like, okay, tonight it's going to be a best of 5, or maybe go to a triangular, and like they did earlier with Dodge and Liberal, and it's a best of 3?
Usually if there's just 2 teams going at it, it's best of 5.
Okay, all right.
Imagine if Great Bend drove, 2 hours and beat up somebody 25-12, 25-12, it'd be... So you got to make it worth your while.
Okay, well, they started last year in baseball and softball 2 years ago, where you would go, say, to Liberal, and you'd play one softball game. And they'd play 3 innings. Because the Lady Panthers would win. Or if Liberal would beat Great Bend, it'd be a 2.5 inning game.
I suppose the kids still get out of school.
And that's all that matters, right? Yeah,
Road
that doesn't
trip.
make any sense at all on that one.
Okay, so that's what's coming up on the show today. Let's get to our sounds the past 24 hours or so. As Mike Hesher always says, it's Overreaction Tuesday here today. Or you say Monday most
Monday,
of the time.
because, Chiefs fans think they're going to go to the Super Bowl.
Joe Buck the call last night. Melvin Gordon fumbles at the goal line. The Broncos lose to the Seahawks 17-16. Denver had some red zone issues. 8 plays inside the Seattle 12 in the third quarter came with 0 points after 2 fumbles. Each running back contributed to the effort as they both fumbled.
Can we say Seattle won the game, or did Denver lose the game?
Well, the biggest play of the game, 4th and 5. Your new coach, Nathaniel Hackett, who's been, everybody's on his side until you got to make a coaching decision, right? So do you go for it on 4th and 5 or try a 64-yard field goal? Maybe in Denver, maybe that'd be okay. I don't know.
I'm trying to think of Dempsey's name. It's not Patrick.
Tom.
Because that's McDreamy.
Yeah, but Tom Dempsey had a cement plate in his toe, too. No one ever did check his shoe after that was over with. Man, I would think 5 yards.
I listened to Denver radio this morning for a little bit, and they were just like, so you took the ball out of the hands of the man you just paid $240 million to?
Well, you usually, on that big chart they all carry around, right? You've got to play.
Yeah, but it's a gut decision. Go for it.
Well, 64 yards is not the easiest field goal.
I realize that.
Are the odds better of you picking up 4th and 5 or kicking a 64-yard field goal?
They had stats
at elevation.
Well, they weren't at elevation.
Well, they're pretty much at sea level,
exactly right. So they had stats on that this morning.
At elevation, 0.
Okay. Thank you very much. At elevation, I thought you were talking about in Denver. But they talked about...
Who?
The gentleman on the radio station out of Denver I listened to.
Well, don't say that. Just claim it as your own.
I'm not going to claim it on my own. I'm going to attribute it to to the Denver radio station. I was like,
some man out there west is...
It was Stink, okay? Stink was talking about
it. Oh, gosh.
Hey, when did they change the mascot in Seattle? Thought it was the Seahawks, not the Boo Birds. All they did was boo all night.
Yeah, we could talk about that, too. So what do you do? So, anyway, back to your important information that you brought to the program.
It was more statistical. A way to do it was to actually go for it on 4th and 5. Because there's like 1 out of 8 is what McManus is over 60 yards kicking a field goal. And when you extrapolate that even further, very few people make 60 yards. And yes, I'm using big words. I will be done after today because I have no idea what they mean.
Statistical and extrapolate.
all in one sentence.
Phew.
Russell Wilson, 29 of 42, 340 yards and a touchdown. But that red zone inefficiency ended up costing them the game last night. Would you have booed if you're a Seattle fan?
It's always different when they get traded, but when they just kind of up and leave for money.
Well, he'd been saying that, kind of inferring that he wanted to leave. But
you can't blame him. They didn't protect him. I wouldn't play for Pete Carroll. And Colorado's beautiful.
It is. So would you boo him?
Have you been to Seattle?
Never have.
Okay, then you don't know Seattle's not beautiful. They call it the Emerald City, do they not?
Have you ever been on a corner in Seattle?
I have not been I've not been to Seattle, so I can't say anything either.
Okay.
All right.
Just make sure you got extra dollars in your pocket because your people are coming up like, please give me. Yeah, they've got to.
Do they sing?
No, they don't.
They play the guitar.
That's Portland.
They play guitar.
The Broncos host the Texans on Sunday. That is, you look at the AFC West, the way everything is, you don't want to drop too many games that you probably should win.
That could hurt the Broncos
especially
later on.
the AFC.
Yep.
I mean, the AFC, well, even in the, want somebody in the West.
I think most Bronco fans had that as a victory. So I think that's going to hurt them later in the season.
So they're going to have to make it up somewhere against someone. Okay, Andy Reid saying he was pretty happy. Well, that was Matt Jones first, ESPN. Everybody overlooks Patrick Mahomes now. Everybody's trying to elevate someone else past him. Maybe we'll find out. Justin Herbert, Thursday night.
Do you think these guys can ever watch a game without having to compare? I just watch it because I enjoy it. I don't need to know who's the best right now.
Well, it's just week to week. I mean, it's like, okay, let's,
Everybody's waiting for your opinion on this. You just enjoyed the game. Andy Reid, yeah, he thought everybody played pretty well.
We're just going to stare at you till you say you would.
Problem is they had some injuries, including Harrison Butker, but they addressed that today. So if Harrison can't kick and Justin Reid, he missed that one field goal pretty badly. Former Jets kicker Matt Amendola won the job against 5 other competitors yesterday. I don't know if Justin Reid was in that, if they let him compete for the kicking job as well. That's a concern going in and you don't have your kicker who has saved you from 55-plus yards before.
If you look at all those games in week 1, how many of them came down to kicks? So the kicker is, as parity in the league increases, kickers are becoming more and more important.
And the Chiefs probably aren't going to have those. The Chargers will not have Keenan Allen. That makes my heart warm. He kills the Chiefs. So he probably missed, but then Justin Herbert completed passes to 9 different receivers, just like Patrick Mahomes did. So this is a big boy game early in the year. You talk about one of those games that Chiefs lost to them last year in Kansas City. You don't want to let that one, or then the Chiefs are going to make one of those up somewhere.
Thankfully, I have Prime, and I'll get to watch that.
What time can we come over?
Was that invite?
Pizza?
Pizza? We don't
I
eat
eat
while we're
pepperoni.
watching football games.
No.
We consume, but we don't eat. So there you go. Just tell me what you want me to bring. Okay, Chris Kleiman talking about the game plan they had for Missouri, and it had to change a little bit. I thought they changed balls all the time. He said the balls were soggy and heavy Saturday in Manhattan. So they decided just run the football and wear Missouri down. Worked pretty good, and he also...
What was his excuse in week 1? I mean, looks like they're going to run the ball a lot this year.
Which you got Deuce Vaughn, it's probably what you want to do. K-State, and they take on Tulane 2 weeks. They take on Oklahoma. Don't they always beat Oklahoma? That's a laydown game for them. They always beat the Sooners.
A few years ago.
The call on WTAM in Cleveland. My man, Tom Hamilton, Ahmed Rosario, doubles to left scoring. What's that Quan's first name? Stephen Quan. Nice one. That was in the bottom of the 7th, so you can get excited about that. The Guardians beat the Angels 5-4. The Twins are just falling out of sight right now. And all of a sudden, it's a 3-game lead over the White Sox in the Central. The Twins are 5 games back.
And we have heard nothing about the Iuka Hustlers' Mike Trout, who's had a home run in 7 straight games.
I was wanting a Mike Trout highlight today, but since they lost the game last night,
you didn't? Okay.
I didn't have one.
Okay. But 7 straight games, that's impressive.
He can tie the record tonight with 8. Who's got 8? Mattingly?
That I do not know.
Okay, that's what we like to do here on Sports Day, is throw something up that we really don't know. Right. But I thought maybe...
No. I'm going to say McGuire. Just don't fact check me.
We've got back checkers. They'd run out of pens every day. Ink would be gone. The Royals play tonight with a chance to be a spoiler. The Twins have lost 3 straight, 8 of their last 10.
They'll sweep the Royals. Because it's the Royals. Well, Brady Singer won't be pitching.
Well, that's true.
So.
Yeah, I don't think he'll pitch in the entire series. Dak Prescott won't go on IR, has a real chance for a quick return to the Dallas Cowboys, according to owner Jerry Jones.
Got distracted there.
Well, I throw stuff out there for Cowboy fans. I know there's a lot of them. Stacy's a Cowboy fan.
When you look at the injuries in week 1, I don't like the Cowboys, but I at least like to watch Dak Prescott. But then the Steelers, one of the Watt brothers, TJ goes down with the pec injury they were thinking the season. You just hate to see the marquee players go down.
That's why you don't lift weights. You make those muscles way too tight.
I tell you,
I'm not gonna have a pec injury. Trust me on that.
Was it Palomalu
That's way too easy to believe.
Cooper Rush. And why rush him back when you have Cooper Rush to back up? Oh, here's one. Tyler Buckner. I just said that, Notre Dame starting quarterback's probably going to miss the rest of the regular season. Probably comes from a nice family, really nice guy. But if you're a Notre Dame fan, are you really brokenhearted?
Is he resigning or did he get hurt?
After they lost their first game of the season?
Their first two.
But the one last week really hurt. So there you go. Sounds the past 24 hours. Okay, if you are watching on video or you go back and watch later, we're trying this out. We don't know where this thing's going to lead. We have this. My wife goes to garage sales and drags stuff home. Okay, so Deb brought this
Is that
home.
how she found you?
She found it. Nice one. Yeah, boom, boom, boom. I kind of like that. That's a good one. Okay, so this is a 1963 vintage Tudor electric football game. Now, what we have done is that the numbers are on the back, so everybody has their numbers. So I go through the starting lineup here, but I'm going to run the opening kickoff back, so that's me right there. Okay, my blocking backs are Shannon from the early morning, or what do they call their show?
Shannon, and Becca.
Chick Chat?
I think it's just Shannon and Becca, isn't it?
Okay, and Patrick Burnett's number 48. My blockers up front, number 75, Scott Donovan, 77, Phil Grossart, 63, Dakota Tucker. Steve Divis, who was really angry that we put him on the offensive line, is number 54, and Shalane is number 66.
I thought Divis was a kicker.
He
got voted out. He's not part of it. He's not on air.
Okay.
So I guess he is, though. Okay.
Cole Reif is in studio. He's coming up next. We're going to talk football here in a moment. It's set up. I've got the ball. Oh, and some other running backs we'll see later. We'll have a chance for people to see how they return. Cole, you have a number here. I think Cole's 34? No, 87. On the sideline? Yeah, today. That's you. Okay. All right. Game, all right. Okay, all right. Would you go up and click the switch that's hanging down there? No,
don't touch that. Oh, heaven.
No. That's a vibrate screw.
Yeah, that's...
Okay, here we go. We're ready for the kickoff. Steve Webster back under the goalpost.
They can't find the clicker.
It's hanging down. No.
It's the black. It's the electric.
Sorry, Cole. I know that. Yeah, okay. Okay, we are ready to go.
Oh, there we go. Come on, boys.
At the 10, 15, taking it right up the middle. If he can break. Oh, no, here comes it. He's going to split. Oh, he just misses him. He's at the 50. Oh, he runs into his own man. It's going to drive him to the sideline. Forward progress is going to be get down. And he's out of bounds at the 48-yard line.
Oh, man.
My own man. What number was that blocked me over there?
That's 54.
54. Steve Divis came across and blocked me and knocked me out of bounds. That was pretty good. I was headed right up the gut. That could have been a touchdown.
My guy took the wrong angle.
Well, Steve Divis said he didn't want to block, and he certainly didn't block anybody. He knocked me out of bounds. So there you go. I don't know what we'll do with it. Maybe we can do something. Yeah. So maybe 50% savings off something, or 50 cheeseburgers.
Depends on how far they go on the. We talked about how far they go.
Okay. Well, hopefully our sales guys looked at it and see what we can come up with.
So okay. All right.
Okay, and the best thing is now the grounds crew, it's kind of like watching a play, and it's the end of the first act, and you'll see the little people come out and move the football field down so Cole Reif can sit here on the program.
Yes, sir.
Okay, it's all part of Sports Day. Remember, coming up, we'll have Tad Remy talking some Larned Football today, Cole Reif, and we talk Bend Panther Volleyball today.
I hope this increases our YouTube viewers. People want to see this action.
Well, they can see Corson today. That'll double it.
Of course, the play-by-play wasn't bad either.
If they're listening on the radio, they'll be, what's that noise? Yeah. I got to watch the video.
It's a 1963 Tudor, Mike. Sports Day rolling on after this.
One of the great advantages about online classes is you can take them anywhere. I would sit in my room, still in my robe from waking up, and I just try to focus on my classes. From Barton, I kind of took a range of classes from accounting, history, and I took PE1 and PE2 through Barton. They transferred pretty incredible. It helped save money, and it helped save some time, too. Just to think that you can live really anywhere and take these classes, I think it's pretty cool.
Summer is here and we're bringing the heat. At Next Tech Wireless, you can get an iPhone SE 3rd Gen or the Samsung A53 on us. Or if you're looking for a little more, you can also get up to $529 off any other device, including the Samsung S22 Ultra or the iPhone 13 Pro Max. Come visit us at a location near you or call or text at 877-621-2600 for more information. Next Tech Wireless. We are Kansas.
Hi, I'm Martin Kearney with Farmers Bank and Trust. A lot has changed in the last 115 years, and Farmers Bank and Trust has been there every year, growing with and serving Central Kansas. Today, Farmers Bank can help you with our many banking products such as personal safeguard checking, online and mobile banking, and retirement accounts. When you need a business, ag, or home loan, turn to Farmers Bank. Local people making local decisions for 115 years. Experience what Farmers Bank can do for you. Farmers Bank and Trust, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
The University of Kansas Health System in Great Bend welcomes Dr. Anna Dagg and Dr. Thomas Dagg to the family medicine team at St. Rose Medical Pavilion. Both doctors begin seeing patients for general care September 12th, but you can schedule your appointment now. Dr. Anna Dagg also provides obstetrics and gynecology care, and Dr. Thomas Dagg also treats sports medicine patients. Schedule your appointment today by calling 620-792-2511.
He's the voice of Hoisington High School football, the Barton County Cougars, and the king of the tweeter machine. It's Cole Reif on Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM.
Welcome back, Sports Day. Cole Reif sore that he wasn't in the starting return lineup.
I mean, there's only three guys that are on the sideline. Me and number 34 and 37.
Well, Divis is benched from now on because I think I was going to take that to the house, and then Divis, who's supposed to be blocking for me, cut across and knocked me out of bounds.
Selfish.
I know. It's not a team player. Cole Reif joining us. Cardinals get back on track last week. They beat Halstead 28-0. Thoughts on the Cardinals' performance Friday at home?
Solid. I mean, you talk about, in Halstead, we'll see where they land. You know, you talk about quality wins. I think Halstead's going to be close to 500 teams, somewhere around there. So maybe not necessarily the same old Halstead we've seen in the past. But the way that one turned out was 7-0 at halftime. That was a grinded-out first half, but you felt like Hoisington, who had 3 turnovers in that game, probably could have won that one even more comfortably. I mean, I was thinking it probably really should have been about 42-0, the final in that one. But they turned it over 3 times, so give credit. Halstead able to recover those fumbles. So, but getting the shutout, big. That was the first shutout for Hoisington since the state semifinals back in 2020. So it was nice to get that goose egg on the board. You're always hoping for that. But Zach, more than anybody, I know there's a lot of coaches when they get into the second half and they get a lead, they want to get their, the JV, the second string in. I think Zach, more than anybody, uses that to his advantage by getting guys experience and getting them in the second half. Not necessarily humble, not necessarily just, great sportsmanship, but he just wants to get guys reps and opportunities. But, I think fans and even, myself are thinking, let's get the shutout. And then you see the guys come in, that third quarter, fourth quarter, and they give up a meaningless touchdown. And so it's kind of nice to see that preserved and get that goose egg on there and get that shutout.
He likes to use a lot of, backups and younger players on his special teams, right?
Yeah, I mean, you're seeing, Marcus Ingram, not only special teams, you're talking about a freshman getting played decent amount at inside linebacker, defensively. Guys that are getting out there, Taylor Morales, another freshman that's getting plenty of playing time and was 4 for 4 on PATs this past Friday night. So good to see him get on track in that area. Taryn Kraft, a sophomore, played a decent amount last year. But now, as a sophomore, he's getting plenty of carries. He ended up with, 5 carries, 32 yards against Halstead Friday night. But then defensively, and he led the team with 9 tackles. So he got really going defensively. Chase Steiner had a really big game, a senior, but had a really big game after being somewhat quiet defensively in the first week at Heston. So there's just a lot of guys that are able to get on track. And I think that's what you kind of expected at a home against Halstead. Just not as many dudes, if you will, as Heston had. And then, going into this week at Lions, you don't really expect to see a ton of that either. So what we're learning about Hoisington, I think they need these next couple weeks to continue to get better and figure everybody's roles out. And I think that'll be pretty well, at least going into that Week 5 matchup with Pratt at home.
Yeah, and Boy, if you're a player, you never want to hear your coach after the first game say, oh, we need to get in better shape.
He's like, and that's what Zach was like.
They work their tails off all the time.
Yeah, he's like, I think they're in good shape, but man, I feel like we need to be in better shape. And part of that was, after the week one, all the cramping. And it was just like, it's just weird. I mean, I had a lot of teams deal with it, but it just seems like Hoisington, with that close, look at them every year, is like every year, week one, there's like major players that go down with cramping, and you're putting in guys that aren't necessarily experienced or ready to go in just because you have a guy on the sideline that just can't go out on the field. So, yeah, I mean, I think that was one thing. And you saw in the second half of week one at Heston that they were a little bit gassed, especially defensively, trying to keep up with everybody. So I thought that was much improved. And just the hype. The hype was back, and it's easy to do that when you get a lead and you're in control of a ball game. That first half was 7-0. I mean, there were flags all over the place. That was a kind of a chippy game. Halstead was kind of that. They bring in their Halstead toughness reputation, if you will. And so we saw 2 ejections in the ball game in the fourth quarter. I think we saw a total of 17 or 18 total penalties combined between the two teams. A lot of unsportsmanlike. So to have that kind of grinded out game, 7-0 at halftime, and to have that edge to you and get that competitor drive back, you saw that Friday night against Halstead.
Yeah, because we've seen before last year, right? I mean, it was mostly on the basketball court where you saw it, and you saw it there. I mean, Hoisington and Halstead get together, it's chippy.
Yeah, and although they had leads at times in that game against Heston, and they were in position to win it, but it always felt like you're playing catch-up. You're always trying to keep up with Heston, even though they had that 14-7 lead in the first half, but you always felt like you're playing catch-up. It was nice to kind of get that slight control of the ball game and then continue to push and extend that lead in the second half.
Elton Brown Field, were they singing Sweet Caroline again? Did they have that?
I think it played once. The biggest, Elton Brown Field is, to me at least, for Hoisington, is more of the Miley Cyrus Party in the USA type of crowd. Yeah, that's the one that gets the student section jacked.
Really?
Sweet Caroline, yeah, the older generation likes it and they get involved, but Miley Cyrus Party in the USA still gets the student section going.
So that's a student section one. Yeah, I remember that. During COVID.
Yeah, you're gonna hear those sweet tunes later this year.
I don't know about that. Let's see.
We won't say which week.
Okay. Lions this week. We'll talk to Tad Remy about this. We had Lions the first week. They played against Nickerson. It's not a Lions team that we've seen in the past that you just roll out there and they're going to lay down. I mean, they played hard, but but it's going to be Lions 0-2 going to Lions on Friday night.
Yeah, Hoisington Lions Friday night, week 3 matchup. Haven't played each other in a while. I think the last matchup between Hoisington and Lions was 2017, and that was a 55-0 win for Hoisington. For me, not enough guys to compete. They don't get a whole lot of push offensively, not bad size. As far as guys that are going to go out there and make plays, I think those numbers are really down. This is a Lions team that won 3 games last year against teams they should have beat, but at the same time, they lost a ton of graduation. So you can say wherever Lions is as a program, they still lost a ton from that 3-win team a year ago.
And their numbers were still good this year. I mean, not great, not like they were the year before, but done a good job getting some more kids out. So
yeah, just not a whole lot of time. I mean, you saw, watching just a little bit of tape, Solomon Goforth, their quarterback, just not a whole lot of time to even try to make a play downfield. And then what I saw, at least in the first half, I mean, just hardly anybody can get open, even when they needed to pass the ball. So, yeah, just some struggles through the first couple of weeks.
Okay, we used K-Prep's poll because Cole votes on it. So, you and how many other fellas?
I would say there's roughly 8 to 10.
Okay, 8
around there.
Okay, so where do you want to start?
Start at the top. How about new number 1 team?
How about the number 1 in 6A, and now it's Manhattan?
Yeah, Manhattan number 1. I mean, you could beat Derby in week 1, then you knock off Topeka this last Friday night. I think Manhattan well deserved to be number 1. And then what we found out, even though Manhattan beat Derby, I think we're finding out that Derby's still the second best team in the state. So they got in at number 2 this week in Class 6A. There's a lot of stumbling going on either in week 1 or week 2. Blue Valley Northwest ended up losing this past Friday night, so they dropped from number 1 to number 3. Wichita Northwest, they won. this past Friday night after losing in Week 1. So, yeah, I think there's a lot of shuffling around in Class 6A, but Manhattan's pretty darn good. And then that sets up the great matchup Friday nights in Hayes against the newly ranked Hayes High Indians, now at number 5 in Class 5A.
Okay, Hayes High, number 5, and 5A, Mill Valley, number 1. We're due to time constraints, we will jump directly to Class 2A. Where? Southeast of Saline.
Yeah, no question, Southeast Saline. I mean, they put together 2 impressive wins. Win number 1 was Rock Creek.
Rock Creek's showing their...
Yeah, I mean, they're ranked in the class below. And then, Beloit's, whatever problems they're having right now, losing Ellsworth in Week 1. But, hey, the Bearcats are 2-0. And then Southeast Saline just absolutely pounded Beloit this past week. So, yeah, no question there. And then I think... no question on a number 2 in Class 2A in Nemaha Central. Kingman, number 3, solid. And then you get to 4 and 5. Rossville, they're 1-1 on the season, but a quality loss, if you will. They come in at number 4. And then at number 5, I thought Norton getting that win against Smith Center definitely deserved to propel themselves. I think you have TMP, Russell, Ellsworth all kind of knocking on the door, potentially getting in that top 5 if anybody else stumbles. And Rossville's got a pretty good game coming up this week. I want to say Topeka Hayden. I could be wrong on that, but they got a quality game coming up this week, so they could stumble again.
Okay, Russell go get a win against Smith Center this week?
That's a big one. I mean, that's big for me. I thought Smith Center stumbling to Norton, and I don't want to take anything away from Norton.
I agree.
But Smith Center losing to Norton kind of told me that maybe Smith Center is not as good this year. Are they still one of the top teams in Class 1A? Sure. But if Smith Center stumbles again this week to Russell, that tells me a little bit about Smith Center. It tells me a lot about Russell as well.
I'd still vote Olpe number 1 in 1A.
Yeah. I mean, they come in at number 4 this week, so they're 0-2. But, losing to Hayden and then Bishop Ward's, a solid Class 3A school as well. I don't know. I've seen some differences from my votes to what actually becomes official, so basically everyone else's votes. I still feel like, if you're the best team, and you can see in Class 4A, St. James Academy came in at number 3 this week, but they've lost both their first 2 games, and they're probably going to start out 0-4. I mean, they have Bishop Miege this week, and then they have St. Thomas Aquinas this week, the 2 teams that are ahead of them in the rankings. So St. James Academy is going to start out probably 0-4, and you're going to tell me they're still going to be number 3 in the state? Are they the 3rd best team? Sure, they are. But do they deserve the number 3 ranking if you're 0-4?
I know.
I'm always torn on that. I usually side the other way.
Yeah, I can see that. And one thing, we saw lacrosse do this, 4 or 5 years ago when, they were stuck in 1A playing. I mean, they were playing southeast of Saline. They played, and they got beat up, and that was the biggest thing. I mean, it's pretty good. It was pretty cool to see them play those bigger schools, but it's not like basketball, where maybe you're not getting a bunch of injuries. So, real quick, 1A1. Wichita County still number 1. Let's see, Clifton Clyde, Little River's in there, and then 1A2, or 8-man 2, I should say, Axtell, Canton Galva, Thunder Ridge. Who's Thunder Ridge? They got somebody this week. It's going to be they have Hill City this week. Yeah, top match up there. And Victoria, they may be better than they were last year.
Yeah, I thought it was a tight game for a while there with lacrosse in the early going, but then just too much nights as they poured it on. But Victoria's, every single year, I just can't remember a down year for Victoria. You talk about program history and program consistency. Doug Oberle and that crew, every year is Victoria, Victoria, Victoria. So, hats off to them.
Okay, well, come back tomorrow if you want to, because if we do another kick return, we'll let you run the kickoff back.
My morale shot. My confidence shot. My coach put me on the sideline.
Let me block for you.
Didn't get any PT this week, so.
Cole Reif on Sports Day. Tad Remy, you're going to talk Larned High School football coming up next.
Hey, you want to hear some good news? Venture Corporation is still hiring for laborers, flaggers, equipment operators, CDL A and B drivers, and mechanics. And if you're ready to make some money, call Leslie at Venture. Thought about getting your CDL? Venture will train the right candidate. Higher starting wages, on-the-job training, excellent benefits, and you get paid for traveling throughout the state. Venture Corporation on South Highway 281 in Great Bend is an equal opportunity employer. Venture Corporation, homegrown, family-owned. When you need to get rid of the pain, you want the best. You need to see Dr. Dan Quillen at Catalyst Therapy and Sports Rehab. Dr. Dan is Barton County's only board-certified clinical specialist in orthopedic physical therapy. No matter your age, when it hurts, he will help. Call Dan at 620-282-4825. That's 282-4825. Excellence-driven, unrivaled results. Catalyst Therapy and Sports Rehab. Inside the field house at 9th and Madison in Great Bend. Great Bend Appliance Furniture and Sleep Source, your Whirlpool dealer, is celebrating 24 years of free delivery and service after the sale. Here's Dale Pruder.
We try our best. We do have 2 service people. We try to take care of you after the sale. And you continue to get new products in all the time. We just keep after it. We have financing, 12 months, same as cash every day on $4.99 and above.
If you need it, they probably have it at Great Bend Appliance Furniture and Sleep Source, your Whirlpool dealer at 10th and Morton.
Come see what's new at Northview. We have something for you, like trees and shrubs and the plants that you love, perennials, annuals, and daffodils both. And as the seasons changing, we're always rearranging. You never know just what you're gonna find, but you'll see a miracle every time. Just take 281 North to come see what's new at Northview.
From the Mayo Money Management Studios, 1590 KVGB, Great Bend, and 95.5 FM K238CK, Hoisington. Sports Day is presented by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department. Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM.
Tad Remy joining us here on Sports Day. And Tad, hats off to your athletic director and your assistant for taking care of your class today so you could join us live here on the show.
Yeah, no, I do appreciate that. And it's a middle school class, so I'm not sure they know what they're in for right now.
Well, you know, we've already started. They can't come in and say help at this point.
I'm locked in my fortress right now, so it's on them.
Oh, the Humpty Dumpty comes to mind for me because, you know, all the King's horses, all the King's men couldn't put Humpty together. Well, you found some King's horses and 54-0 over Lions, and that was one that had to feel good because, just like Hoiston a year ago, you took your thumping at Pratt and then bounced back with a big win. Congratulations. I know that had to feel good for you and your staff and all your players.
Yeah, thank you. It did. It was a lot of fun. Anytime you can go play football at home, like, I don't think you want to take that for granted. Like, it's a big deal. You only get a handful of those a year, so you want to take advantage of every opportunity. And, against Pratt, like, that was just not the way you want to start the season. And there was so many things going on. I mean, both in my life and, it affected the football program for a few days. And it was not a good week. And we came in on Labor Day and we met as a staff over the weekend. And we're like, hey, despite, as ugly as that was, we ran the ball for, we had a big sack and a kid that took a loss trying to do a little too much. But, we grossed over 200 rushing yards against Pratt, and you can't take everything out. But we had those two, and it ended up putting us like 185 yards rushing against Pratt. So, as bad as it looked, you could still see some positive things that we thought that we could build on. That first game, it just looked like so many things snowballed on us. We can't give up, non-offensive touchdowns to a team, and we weren't as prepared as we needed to be, and that's my fault. And we came out and we said, hey guys, this is Monday, it's Labor Day. We've got a JV game tonight, and we're going to practice, and we're going to move our attention to Lions, and we're never going to focus on that Pratt game again. We're not going to talk about it, and I haven't deleted it yet because somebody might want that film at some point. And I could use it as a bargaining chip, but I'm going to delete that film here in a little bit, and we're never going to think about it again. So our kids did a good job of coming out and, being positive and working hard and, and building on those things that we did somewhat well against Pratt.
Well, I'm going to ask you one more thing about Pratt, because all I have to do is, I just compare scores, but the preseason, stories about Pratt where they lost a lot of guys. What do you think about Pratt after facing them this year, facing them last year? What do you think?
They're definitely not any worse than they were last year. So whatever they want to call them, they're two, quarterback types that catch the direct snap. They had the Walton kid last year and the Steinmetz kid last year, who were very physical runners, but they weren't, quite as twitchy. And they brought back the Hamey kid, number 15, and then one of the uni kids just went in there and replaced them. And, I don't know that they missed a beat. I mean, I would say with a pretty high degree of conviction that these two kids that they brought back are more athletic than their starters from last year. Then they have the Martinez kid at wing, and they did a good job of playing off him. You have to respect counter, so you can't totally, react to their heavy stuff, into their sniffer and their wing. So, they're good. Their offensive line is very big. Their smallest one is 6'1", 225. Wow. And I was pretty impressed with them. And their defensive secondary really flew around, and their defensive line, I would say, it might not be quite as good as it was last year, but they're very solid.
Tad Remy, head coach of the Larned High School Indians, with us today on Sports Day. And Brady Hope, he kind of reminds me of like Christian McCaffrey. Do you find yourself with a notepad just finding ways to get him the ball in open space?
Yeah, that is a good chunk of what we do. I mean, he is even as a sophomore last year. He had a big game against Hoisington. I mean, he only played 3 games and a quarter because he broke his leg against Pratt last year. But he had, honestly, I want to say 15 rushes last year for close to 300 yards, and he's just, man, and one of the most instinctive runners that I've ever been around. He's not a huge kid, but he has good speed, but he's definitely shiftier than he is fast in a straight line. But, I don't want to discount his straight line speed because he's, probably in our top 3 fastest kids. He's a good football player. You can throw it to him. You can hand it to him. And we got him the ball in maybe 3 or 4 different run schemes last week against Lions. And, he had a heck of a day because he's just, if you don't get him with the first one, he's probably going to make the next guy miss. So you got to get him on the ground quickly.
Then you have the sledgehammer, Luke Fisher.
Yeah, he really is. I mean, for those of you that follow wrestling, he was a round away from medaling at the state wrestling tournament last year, and he wrestled 152. He was probably 5'11", if that, maybe 5'10", 152. And track season, he wanted a pole vault. And so I was like, okay, he weighed in. And the very first time he weighed in, he got the pole certified, he weighed 170. Well, our 170 pole was not in good shape. So I'm like, hey, I'll buy you a new one. I bought a brand new one. Well, the next time he weighed in, maybe 2 weeks later, he was like 182. And we're like, what is going on here? Like, Luke, you might have outgrown pole vault. And then we weighed him in again about the 1st of May, and he was 190. So, he just keeps going. And he's about 205, about 6'1" right now.
Wow.
He's a really, really good football player. He, seeks out contact maybe a little bit more than I would like. Sometimes, it's okay to make a move on a guy, but you don't want to coach that toughness out of him. I don't remember what he ran for against Lions. 13 or 14 carries for $120, $130. He ripped off a 50-yarder at one point. I think we've got a pretty good punch back there.
Rylie Pontius, talk about your quarterback and his development now as senior and what he can do this season.
He's a good athlete too. He's another one that had a good track season. And he's grown. He's heavier than he was last year. Last year he was probably playing, maybe weighing 130, 132, something like that. And he's at least 10 pounds heavier than that. And he's a lot faster than he was last year. And we ran him probably more than we ever have before. And, I would think that that'll be a big part of our package going forward. But you never know on a week-to-week basis who we see and what they want to do. But, yeah, he's a good athlete. He was a pretty good javelin thrower for us. He ran the hurdles, ran the 200, ran the 400 for us in track season. And it really paid off for him a lot. I mean, we got to keep him healthy, just like anybody else. Any of our other, starters. A two-way high school. Even the best ones that are winning state championships every year. If they suffer a couple injuries, they're in trouble. So that applies to us. But he he had a really good game on Friday.
I know. I can just hear the mom and dads out there. Well, my son's on the offensive line. Why aren't they talking about them? Heck, we had over 300 yards rushing. Tell me about your O-line, Coach.
Yeah, we started Carter Crosby at center. He's a sophomore who missed his entire 8th grade year with a broken leg. And, took a lot of time to come back from that as a freshman, but did a good job working in the offseason. And he's our biggest kid. He's about 6'2", probably about 280, 290. And he's developing pretty nicely, I think. Our two guards are a pair of seniors in Ian Sanders and Carter Atterbury, and I think they're improving as well. And then we have a couple juniors that play tackle for us in Michael Graff and Ty Smith, and they're kind of what's become the prototype for Larned linemen recently. They're probably more built like inside linebackers, but I do think that gives us some ability to pull them and do some things in space because they are good athletes. I mean, they're not just your typical kind of stocky, sawed-off, heavy-footed linemen. They're pretty good athletes, and they did a really, really good job. And obviously, we got to keep getting better because the schedule's going to pick up again here on Friday. But I'm pretty excited with what those guys can do. And like we always, and I think a lot of coaches are like this. You would like to find your starting five and then allow them to gel as a unit because more than any other position group on a football field, like the offensive line has to play together and develop some cohesiveness and chemistry. And we're trying to get there, and I think we will.
Okay, Tad, this is one of I know it's week 3, but this is kind of one of those tone setters for a season right now. You're taking on a Smoky Valley team that comes in. They're 1-1, and I mean, you look on paper, how do you get this one, man? It opens the gates for other neat things that could happen further down the road.
Yeah, I think it would go a long way towards just getting some momentum because, we get Smoky Valley at their place on Friday, and then we get back-to-back home games, and honestly, after that, I can't even remember who we play, but I do know this 3-game stretch is Smoky, Nickerson, and then Cimarron. We'd like to get some momentum heading into districts. Smoky's good, I talked to Coach Lambert at the track meet and at the league track meet, and some other football coaches, and there was some speculation that this might be his best team that he's ever had. And we played them in 2016 through 2019, and we split those 4 games. And they were darn good in 2017 and 2018, and we beat them one of those years. In 2018, they got the better of us. They were big and physical, and I would say that this is a pretty typical Smoky Valley team. They're going to be very, very sound and not make mistakes. I would say they're not as big as you typically see from them, but they might have the best skill player talent that we've seen. Like they played a tight end and an ex-wide receiver that are both 6'1", 190 pounds. That I think they'd play for a lot of schools in the state. And then they have a very, very fast tailback who I think was a state qualifier in the 100. And I know they qualified a relay for state as well. And they have a big, strong, stout, it looks like a basketball player type quarterback. So we're going to have our work cut out for us. We're going to have to be really, really physical and really sound because if we're not sound, the way they run that old Smith Center wishbone, they can get you.
Tad Remy, thanks for the time today. Good luck on Friday. And you got a good-looking family. That guy I referee with, he shows me his grandkids, I see 4 or 5 pictures of him every road trip. So. Oh, man, 4 or 5. I think that'd be the first 10 seconds you get in the car. But, yeah, I don't know what we were thinking, adding another kid right there at the beginning of the football season. I go home and, we had 3 before, and it just seems like going from 3 to a 4th might have been adding 10 more kids to the house. So, yeah, we're figuring it out. But, Mike's, a proud grandpa, that's for sure. All right, Tad, good luck Friday. Thank you. Okay, Tad Remy with us here on Sports Day.
If you need physical therapy, consider Advanced Therapy in Great Bend and Progressive Therapy in Larned and Hayes.
I had a young gal come in the other day who has been having chronic back pain. Did a session just helping her to understand her pain, not understanding her back, but teaching her how her nervous system works. And just that knowledge just calmed her down so much. She came back in this morning, huge smile on her face, and she was so excited to learn more. It was a blast.
Call Advanced or Progressive Therapy and Sports Medicine to explore your treatment options and get your life back.
This is Barton Community College Athletic Director Trevor Rolfs. The Barton Athletic Department is proud to sponsor Sports Day on KVG. a show that showcases all of our high school student athletes in Central Kansas, some whom will continue their educational and athletic future with us here at Barton. We're excited about the fall sports season that is now underway and invite you to attend a game or a match and experience the rich tradition of Cougar athletics. For complete schedules and results, visit bartonsports.com.
Attention taxpayers. If you're facing IRS debt you can't afford to pay, then you need to take advantage of the new Taxpayer Relief Initiative to free yourself from IRS collection efforts once and for all. Due to the financial hardship consumers are facing, the IRS has made it easier to settle delinquent tax problems. You may qualify for significant tax savings. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Take down this number stored in your cell phone, but call the Community Tax helpline at 800-219-3123. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back, or you even have years of unfiled tax returns, you may now find the relief that you need. Call the Community Tax helpline today at 800-219-3123. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800-219-3123 for your free consultation and to see if you qualify. That's 800-219-3123.
Sports Day presents On the Prowl with Mike Corson, an inside look at all the sports taking place at Great Bend High School.
And welcome back to Sports Day, 1590 KVGB, 95.5 FM. We like to promote our area teams here, but we like it even better when they prove us right. This weekend, the Lady Panther volleyball team traveled to Rylie County, posted a 4-1 record to win the tournament. Today we're joined by seniors Shelly Duvall and Kyndall Blessing, and of course, Coach Shelly Duvall. How you doing, girls?
Good. Yeah, doing pretty good.
And so you open this tournament. Well, first we're going to start out, get the background stuff out of the way. Andale, of course, is kind of the gold standard of Kansas sports, and Andale girls and athletes in general have a certain kind of look. You girls look like you could play for Andale. Big track, both state placers at the state track meet as throwers.
Yes.
How big, Kyndall, has the strength and conditioning program been for you?
It has been very good. I mean, we're always working hard in the weight room, getting things done.
And Rylie, how does that transition into volleyball?
Especially a lot of like the upper body strength and just kind of working on your legs, which allows the ability to jump, just more strength.
And so this weekend you go to Rylie County. There were 2 ranked teams. Jefferson County North was number 8 in 2A. Clay Center's number 10 in 5A. You guys come out and you lose 2 sets to Clay Center. Rylie, what's the mindset of having to bounce back from a loss to open the tournament?
It was a little kind of upsetting losing the first one because we did battle in the first set especially. But just kind of knowing it was our first one of the day, we knew we were a little rusty. But we were ready to play the next one.
And then, Kyndall, you guys end up winning the tournament. You get Clay Center in the finals, beat them in 3 sets. But lots of close sets throughout the day, and you guys kind of faltered almost every second set. What was it about the second set?
Yes, the second set has always been tough for us. I think it's just like coming out of that huddle, you're always pumped, but whenever that first mistake is made, we always like have to figure out how to regroup after that.
And we'll let Coach Duvall hop in here. You lose the first set or you're playing all these close sets. How about the maturity just in one tournament for them to bounce back time and time again?
Oh, this has been crazy. This weekend showed us a lot about this team and the strengths that they have and working together and really focusing on the team aspect of things. And there wasn't any individual athletes, and they worked together. They made sure they were huddling up after every single point, no matter if somebody was struggling or not. They made sure and picked each other up, and I really do think it paid off throughout the day, especially in those tight sets. They knew they had each other's backs.
And we're here with Great Bend High School volleyball seniors Rylie Duvall, Kyndall Blessing, and Coach Duvall. Kyndall, we had Valerie Luna in, and she's a blocking specialist of sorts. You're up there digging up the spikes in the back row. What is a digger looking for play in, play out?
Well, when you look at your blockers, you always look at like where their shoulders are and try to play off of that, and just always make sure that you don't hesitate when you go for the ball.
And then, is your goal as a digger just to get the ball up, or are you actually looking for a pass?
You always look for a pass, but when in tight situations, you just try to get it up and hope someone can get to it.
And Rylie, you had a big hit. When we look at you, you're not the tallest girl on the court ever, but you had the massive hit this weekend that, as Coach Duvall said, kind of shut down the gym.
Mm-hmm.
How do you consistently do that?
One big thing is keeping your arm up to be able to attack the ball at the highest point, which allows the ball to go down. I definitely can't jump the highest, but with my wingspan, it does help a little bit.
And then what's that feel like? Do you know right off your hand that you got it solid and it's going to go down for a point?
Oh, yeah. There's some that, like, I'm going up, and as soon as I'm in the air and I know my arm, like, as soon as I hit the ball, I'm like, this is going down. I'm feeling good.
And Great Bend travels tonight to Hayes for a varsity-only match. WAC has been competitive so far. What do we know about Hayes?
Well, we only really play them on WAC. Like, we never played them before WAC, so it would be very interesting playing them before that and getting more insight on how they play.
And it's a best-of-5. Do you guys like the best-of-5 format better than the best-of-3?
Sometimes it's nice. We do a lot with Dodge or 3 out of 5s. It kind of is like playing 2 games, but sometimes if you just go to 3, you know, it's done. But it's more exciting to go more.
Great Bend Lady Panthers 6-2 on the season. We thank Rylie and Kyndall and Coach Duvall for coming in. More Sports Day after this.
Farmers depend on their equipment, and equipment depends on its fuel. Cenex Premium Diesel works as hard as you do and comes with a more complete additive package for a more complete burn. Cenex Ruby Fieldmaster even cleans up your injectors and prevents injector fouling, so your equipment can keep firing on all cylinders to make every day a field day. Cenex Premium Diesel. Diesel that doesn't mess around.
Contact the Great Bend Co-op Fuel Department, your certified Cenex distributor today.
Man, how can you afford gas for that big SUV? I pay less for gas than everyone else. I got the free Get Upside Gas app and get up to 25 cents a gallon cash back every time I buy gas. Hold on. You're getting up to 25 cents off a gallon with the free Get Upside Gas app while I'm paying full price? You know it. People earned over $1 million last year. You just got to take a picture of your gas receipt and bam, up to 25 cents a gallon cash back. You don't have to tell me twice. I'm downloading the free Get Upside Gas app now.
Download the free Get Upside app now in the App Store or Google Play to save up to 25 cents a gallon when you buy gas. Use promo code LOVE for a 25 cent a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's up to 50 cents a gallon on your next tank. Just download the free Get Upside app at the App Store or Google Play and use promo code LOVE. Save money on gas on every fill-up. Just download the free Get Upside app and use promo code LOVE. That's LOVE. Visit getupside.com for terms.
Sports Day proudly presents...
Hey, you! Get off my yard!
A look at what's bugging our grumpy old sports hosts.
And you are grumpy today, Hesh.
That's pretty much every day. I mean, my nickname in Colorado was the Grinch.
What do you got?
Well, you know, I kind of brought this on myself, and I'm old and I should know this, but government intrusion. I had to pay $75 for a permit to replace my carport. I had a carport, the tornado in 2001 blew it down. I finally got back to putting it down. I put it up. It was my yard. And Jonathan Mitchell says, oh, you owe a permit on that. So I had to go in and pay $75. How come they're telling me what to do on my yard?
Because your crickety old carport's going to blow out of there
and
go
it's
into
a brand new one.
Well, they want to make sure that you've got it anchored down the way it's supposed to be.
It doesn't matter? No. Okay. What's yours? Government intrusion.
No. Well, you just made me speak. No, Friday night football games.
Right.
You know, at the stadiums where you can drive up, you know, and sit.
Honk if they score a touchdown?
Well, not that close, but even close enough. And they go up there and they're sitting there. And they leave their stinking lights on.
Oh, yes.
And then you got to stop the game, and then you got to go over there, hey, tell that guy over there, and then they don't know how to shut their lights off. You know, whether you got to turn it on or you turn it off.
That's like baseball.
Don't be that person at the football game that stops everything.
And they're like, why are they stopped? And they're all
everybody pointing at me.
Well, I can understand that one, yes.
Yeah, especially if you're down there in the end zone, you're pounding beers. Don't turn your lights on. It brings unnecessary. You may get thrown out of the stadium. Okay, tomorrow on the show, I got to be gone tomorrow again. Sorry, Jeremy Rusko's going to be in. Former Panther. He played in '91. That's when the turnaround really started.
It's going to be an interesting interview. Corson's fired up for that one.
Yep, and we're going to have that. I think Laz Lashley in on the show tomorrow, and Gerard Walbrock, voice of the Fort Hays State Tigers. That is Sports Day tomorrow right here on KVGB.